All right, guys, so today I'm gonna take a little break from working on the white drag Supra. So I'm getting it ready for World Cup. I'm gonna take a little break from it today and work on my wife's car. And the wife's car is, of course, the Mark V Supra. And what we're gonna do is a downpipe install and a Titan Protune, which is like a piggyback ECU on top of the regular ECU that'll add some power and give it a little bit more pep. So what's cool about this, so 2 mods, it's like 900 bucks for the 2 mods, and you get about 100 wheel horsepower out of it. So it's pretty amazing bang for the buck. You can't really beat that. So it's not gonna be any 1400 or 1500 wheel horsepower project like this car will be, but it's gonna be pretty fun for her. And she broke her ankle about 4 weeks ago, so the car's just been kind of sitting. So I'm excited to give it back to her with this newfound power. And I think she'll really enjoy it. So maybe I'll get her to do a burnout or something for us later. And then also, later in the video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the manual swap for this car. I know a lot of people have been asking about that, what I'm doing as far as the manual swap, and I'm gonna cover that a little bit here later in the video as well. And you can see here, the exhaust is removed all the way back. It's down here on the floor. And what I'm gonna be doing is putting the Titan Motorsports downpipe in here, and I also have their Protune. So I'm gonna be installing that later in this short little video. But honestly, I ordered all the materials, they're actually right there, to build a downpipe until I saw Titan release their price on their downpipe for $299. I mean, you just can't beat it. So I ended up just buying their downpipe, and there's the stock downpipe, build one. So the only thing I don't like and I'm not sure about is the stock one. You see it has this like almost like lead gasket material in here. And on Titans, there's nothing there. So I'm hoping they don't expect me to try to get that gasket out of there, because it's not, there's no way I'm getting that out of there. So ignore what I said earlier about not being able to get that gasket out. I was able to get it out with a simple little pick. I was able to pull it out of that stock downpipe and get it installed into here. So that wasn't too bad, actually. Now, this car only has 500 miles on it, so I can imagine a car with a lot more miles on it, that little guy might be hard to get out of there. So I guess all I gotta do now is swap these O2 sensors over to the downpipe and install it. All right, so the exhaust is all in, the downpipe is installed. The downpipe is actually really easy to install. This only took me about 45 minutes to get it all back in and get the exhaust back in. And actually, the hardest part was lifting this exhaust up by myself. And then the only other time-consuming part was reinstalling these little under trays in this cross brace. Took a little bit of time as well. But the stock exhaust is back on. Downpipe O2 sensors are in there. And now it's gonna be time to do the Protune. So I'm gonna go back on the top side of the car now. So this is what you get in the box with the Titan Protune. Basically a wiring harness to patch into the map sensor and I think the boost sensor. And then you got the Protune, I guess this is like the ECU or whatever you wanna call it, the module, and then some zip ties. So there's a video on YouTube that shows you how to install this. So I'm just gonna follow that and then see if we can't get the car to start up. On the install of the Titan Protune, it's literally as easy as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of funny, but there's an A, which is right here on the harness. So this A piece of harness comes down here, goes into the boost sensor. So you plug the one end in, you unplug the stock wiring, you plug this plug in on the new harness, and then you plug the other end right here into the existing harness. So you're basically jumping it. Then you do the same right here on the map sensor, which is about halfway back the motor. You unplug the stock one, plug the harness in, plug the other end of the harness in. So there's B. And then C is this cam sensor. Same thing. You can see C here on my harness, ABC. Unplug the cam sensor, plug the new harness in, plug the existing harness into the other part of the harness. Then you just run your wiring And this was really easy as well. So all I did was I took this one clip right here out of here, and I spin this to the side like that. Run the wiring right under that piece of rubber, right through here, and it just kind of just sits there. So you run that under there, push this back over top, put your clip back in here, and then this is the actual the module. So on the module with the car turned off, you can see here I have a 0. That's the first map, and there's a plus button and a minus button, and you can change the tunes. There's 7 different tunes in here, and you can change the tune setting to whatever you need. And for this car, since we have a downpipe and a pump gas, we're going to run tune number 4. And I'll post up the little graphic showing all the different tune numbers that you have. So now that I'm set up on which tune I want, I'm just going to install this down in here in this empty area, just temporarily. I'm going to do some maybe zip tie or something just for now. I'll do a better install later, but for now that's how I'm going to do it. And then I'll just install this piece of cover back over top here like that, and it'll look like almost nothing ever happened. I'll put the engine bay cover, or the actual engine cover back over so you can hide that the BMW mess of wiring, and it should look pretty much factory still. You can see it still looks like the factory engine bay. The only difference is these 3 wires that run from under the cover back into that corner panel area, and you can't even really tell what that is, and it kind of just looks almost stockish. So that's all it takes for 100 wheel horsepower. And I'm gonna put these 2 products on my website as a package deal. So if you wanna get 100 wheel horsepower for your Mark V Supra, just go to my website, grannisracing.com, and buy these 2 pieces. Super simple install. I mean, you can't beat it as far as the price point, the bang for the buck, and how simple it installs as well. So I'm pretty happy with this. Let's go see what my wife thinks about it. Yandro, your shirt. Eli, show Yandro your new shirt.
No.
What's on your shirt? Minion. TT Minion. You're walking pretty good, considering your ankle.
Rude.
Go.
It's better now.
I thought you don't like this car.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Open the door. Let me just unlock it. Wind the windows down, Cinda.
You gonna sit in it, Eli? No.
Okay, so here we are. Just started it up for the first time. So rev it up and let's see what you think about how it sounds.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, do it again. Yeah, so it's got some fire. It's got the crackle tune now. The crackle tune, Jacinda.
I like it.
So let's talk a little bit about the Mark V Supra and manual transmission stuff. So my first goal when I bought this car was to do a manual transmission for the car. So almost immediately I started taking it apart and looking at everything up under the dash and in the engine bay area, like where the master cylinder would go. And then I looked at the tunnel, and I found something that kind of made me hold off. And I'm gonna show you that thing right now. As far as like doing a manual swap in the car, I don't think it would be hard as far as the mechanical parts. So the transmission itself, like I could build a bell housing for it and put a T56 behind there. There's some other little complexity pieces like the clutch pedal itself, the interior panel. Those things are like something that aren't like as easy to do. They would have to be like custom built and then have like someone build it out of carbon fiber. The clutch pedal, like the ideal situation is to have a BMW or Toyota part that would fit this car bolt in. Like if I have to make a custom pedal or something, that just adds more complexity to it. And then you have to have people cutting up their cars and maybe doing some fabrication work, which I don't want to do. Like my kits are like all bolt in, and that's what I would want. So I'm going to show you why I'm holding off right now. But right here is this is the F-body T56 Magnum. Might be a little bit hard to see. I'm using this phone holder thing. But this is what I would use in the Mark V with the custom bell housing up front. So this is what would go in it eventually, and I might still do that down the road, but I'm gonna wait and see if BMW/Toyota comes out with a kit. I don't know why I just did that. Stupid thing. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna get in the car here and show you what I found that made me change my mind about doing this right away. I'm gonna show you. So this is what I was talking about, the interior panel. This would have to be custom rebuilt because there's no way you could get a manual shifter and boot in this little area right here forward with all the buttons that are in place. So you'd have to kind of rearrange these buttons and make a custom panel to fit in here and then have a shift boot added into that panel. So that was one of the little things. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. That could definitely be done without a problem. The clutch pedal is a little bit harder to do. And when I was down here looking under the car at the area, I was like, wow, that's pretty tight over there. So you'd have to probably remove this footrest area. And when I got up under here and started looking, I noticed something that was really kind of funny. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh shit. So let's look down here. Hopefully you can see this. But so over here we have the gas pedal, brake pedal, and then of course clutch pedal would go over here. But if you look up at this panel, this plastic simple panel, you can see that there is a cutout and like a rubber grommet type of seal thing there where the brake pedal sits into that panel, and the gas pedal is drive-by-wire, so you don't have a pedal up there. But if you come over here and look, whoa, what is that? What is this guy? Look at that. It sits back further, which makes sense. Like, hey, this is where a clutch pedal would go. So I saw this and I was like, shit, they're gonna make a manual version of this car. So that is my theory, is that they are gonna make a manual version of this car. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna sit back and hold out and wait and see what happens, because I mean with that, I don't think that's just like a parts bin, like what they call a parts bin part, like where they would take it from another BMW car, because this is kind of a unique and new chassis. I don't think it would be a parts bin like where they would use it in multiple cars. I think that's a unique part to this car and to the Z4 probably. So I think there's gonna be a manual version coming soon. So we'll just have to keep an eye out and see what happens. But if that does happen, I mean, then I can build the strong trans. So people that are making, you know, 700-800 horsepower plus and they want a really strong manual transmission, that's when I'll come in and build that T56 kit for it. So yeah, as for now, the manual conversion is on hold and I'm gonna see what happens as far as Toyota and what they come with. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a manual version of this car. I mean, it looks to me, like it's gonna happen.